Chat. Let's move on to the next subject, shall we? I saw this popped up on my feed from Optimus, and it says, and it literally says, I thought this there's like we've just recently just been hearing like women doing like outlandish things or receiving outlandish things in general, like apparently a woman dates 100 men in one night and now she regrets it, apparently. I don't know how you manage to date 100 dudes in one night, but apparently it's possible. Date? Yeah, quotation marks date, Let's take a look and see what's going on with this. How?
All right,
I
what's
have
going
no
on,
idea.
everybody? Welcome
Bro,
back
you're as good as guess as mine, to be honest. If you're gonna try to let me know how do you manage to do this?
to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a new documentary that was uploaded pretty recently to YouTube that has basically
Oh, this is a documentary? Oh, I did not know about that, actually. Oh, okay. Oh.
been making the rounds around social media. Now, this isn't the typical, World War II historical type of documentary that you might be interested in. Nothing about, like, anything really that you probably would know
We're gonna
much
find
of.
out.
This basically is a documentary filmed by Josh Peters that involves an OnlyFans model by the name of Lily.
Ah, an OnlyFans model. Now everything is making complete sense. Everything is making complete sense now. Okay, alright, that's okay.
Phillips. Now, apparently, Lily Phillips has been doing OnlyFans for some time. She kind of like goes into her backstory as to how this entire thing started. I guess she was just, like a pretty frivolous, woman in college, and she just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna start the OnlyFans. But that's not really the point, okay? The main event of said documentary is,
To be honest, people who are like super young, like super early, like 20s or so, are the people who start like OnlyFans. I've been noticing that like a lot of people who are like their early 20s are the ones who like starts OnlyFans. You know, during my time, I don't think OnlyFans existed during my time. So, well, to be honest, the first time the many millennia ago or so, even then I was in the outer realms anyway. So, nothing like that ever existed, to be honest.
is the fact that she plans to have a slumber party, I guess is the best term, with 100 men in the same night. So I think it's
Ah, a slumber party. This generation has grown more rebellious. I feel like this generation has gone like more gooner, to be honest. Like they've literally, man, the gooning is fucking intense, to be honest, in my personal opinion. Like I have noticed that like the younger generation are just a bunch of like horny monkeys. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, to be honest. In my personal opinion, if you're doing OF or any of that stuff, you're just a horny monkey. That's it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're just horny. That's it, man. That's just honestly it.
it's pretty crazy, the concept of, having like 100 people that you've been with in your entire life, right? Like that's an insane number. That's a completely out there figure. But of course, to think that you could do all of this in one night, okay, is just, it's fucking insane. So this is making, like I said, the rounds on social media. People are talking about it. There's a lot of clips kind of going viral now. As the documentary goes to basically unravel here, Lily, who previously was doing OnlyFans and was a pretty out there kind of woman, had some pretty deep regrets, I guess is the safe.
Ah, yes. When they grow a little bit more older, or when life hits them in the face, they start to regret it. Their decision of starting an OnlyFans.
Safest way really to put it about the entire experience after it was all said and done. And there's a lot of debate about this, like who is in the wrong, who bears fault for how this entire thing went down. There's a lot of different like diverse opinions on this. For instance, we have a lot of people who
Let's listen to all the different points about this.
are siding with Lily now that she's extremely regretful. They're like blaming the men who partook in the 100 versus 1 battle royale, if you will. And then of course there's people who are just like outright blaming her, like, why would you allow this to happen to you? This is absolutely disgusting. So I guess
That's true. At the end of the day, you are your own person. You make the decisions at the end of the day. You know? You're the one who initiated this. You're the one who started this. You're the one who instigated this. You're the one who did all of it. It's not like someone put a gun on beside your head and said, you're gonna be having a slumber party with 100 men, you know? Or else. Nobody did that to you, okay? It's all you. Bro, the accountability is kind of insane in my personal opinion.
Best way to really dive into this, I think, is to show this clip that really, I think, sums up how Lily thinks as a person, okay? Now, it's not always fair to judge somebody off of one clip, but this, I think, would have said enough, so...
So you would let, like, these guys do that on your face?
Yeah.
And in your mouth?
Yeah.
What if they had HIV?
Is that where it comes from?
Is that where it comes from? Wow. Not even finishing the clip, and the first sentence that I heard was like, is that where it comes from? Damn, that's fucking crazy. That is the most craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Spunk in the mouth?
It can.
Oh, really? See, I've never really thought about that. Last time when I did it, all of them could spin their mouths. I can't really explain it. I get like serotonin, like from when people are like, oh my god, you're that on the internet. Sounds crazy.
I know, and I know you're saying that to me right here, but I don't believe that.
Really?
No.
Now, in that clip, Lily basically admits she doesn't know how HIV and presumably other STDs are spread, okay? Now...
Yo, what the fuck happened to the education system, dude? What the fuck? Isn't the education system supposed to teach you this shit? Like, what the fuck? Excuse me? Like, even the Outer Realms taught us this shit, too. Like, they taught us how human reproduction works and everything, and what you can actually, like, get if you get a disease. Like, we saw the diseases. Fucking a lot of us got scarred, to be honest.
Obviously, STDs are a pretty big deal. It's pretty disgusting. Lots of health consequences, not really something you want to deal with right now. This is a woman who has admittedly been quite open with men in the past, if you know what I mean. And she has no clue how STDs and other shit like that is spread around. So this is somebody who is so like willfully ignorant about the consequences of what they're doing that not only are they putting their own health at risk, they're putting other people's health at risk by going around and sleeping with them. So it's pretty insane to think that as an adult, you don't actually comprehend how sexually transmitted diseases are spread. Like the concept that bodily fluid might contain some fucking ill, virus or something that you don't want. Apparently that's like news to some people. I don't know. That blows my mind in and of itself. But like I said, she goes on and has her dealings with 100 men. And of course, beforehand, she had a pretty different opinion on things because, it's one thing to say that you're gonna do something like this and then a completely different thing, really, than just like, I guess, actually going and doing it. So she ends up doing the deed, right? 100 men in one day, which is just a truly awful accomplishment, I think, to really try to put to your own name. I mean, I'll be honest, if I were a father, right, I would never want my child to have the title of being the person who slept with 100 strangers in one night. That's not really a great thing. That's not really an awesome fucking super dope swag-tastic thing to go doing. And yeah, well, it turns out that it wasn't actually great,
Yeah, I wouldn't want my daughter or my son having that title above their head, as someone who's going to be a parent in the future? No, hell fucking no, dude. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? I raised you to be a proper child. I didn't raise you to be a fucking person who's like fucking just drops their pants or spreads their fucking legs to anybody. You know? That's not how I raised you. Okay? Hell no, dude.
It turns out that sleeping with 100 strangers that you don't know all at the same time didn't turn out so well. Now,
When was the last time you ate?
I had I think I had a yum yum, and then I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it, like.
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more in
Where you're having sex with 100 people that you don't know. Like, you don't know any of them.
intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Now, as you can see, she holds a lot of regret for what happened. She compares it to being kind of, you know, like a whore, or apparently it's nothing like one-on-one relations with another person, which
No fucking duh, of course. You know? Like, anyone with an actual IQ above 100 can tell you this. You know? Yeah, the adult industry is a different type of playing ground, you know, because there's rules and regulations and everything, but she apparently she doesn't know any of these 100 people. So it's just kind of like,
I'm really not trying to be mean, because like I can tell this is one of those degenerate activities that probably fucked with everybody involved mentally, right? But did you really need to go through this to find?
bro, I'm a fucking degenerate, but you don't see me fucking spreading my legs to fucking 100 dudes. Shit, man. Fuck, man. Like, I keep like I can be degenerate from time to time, right? But I keep that shit in check a lot of the times, right? Because, you know, I am pretty, you know, what's the word? What's the word? Oh, I guess like pent up, I guess you can say, right? As someone who hasn't had a relationship for like what? It's been like forever since I've had a relationship, you know? And it's been longer since I've had a relationship more than 1 year. So I think it's been like at least more than like when was the last time I dated that I had a long relationship? It was like more than like 10 years ago. It was about roughly 14 years ago, roughly. At least roughly more than 14 years ago. Since I've had a relationship that lasted longer than 2 years. So, or a year. More than a year, actually, I should say. More than a year. So, yeah. It was literally the last time I had a relationship that was, like, long, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much about it, though. You know, at the end of the day, right? You know, it's like I'm a woman. You know, I need to release my pent up shit sometimes too. You know, shit, fuck, like everybody does. You know, it's the normal shit for a human body at the end of the day. You know, you're talking to someone who's been alive for like millennia now. Okay, I've been here since like King Tut was in fucking diapers. Okay, all right. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, it gets to you after a while, but at the end of the day, right, it's not like I'm gonna fucking start spreading my leg to every fucking guy I see down the fucking street or something, you know, or have sex with like 200 fucking guys or something, you know. No, I was just like, what the fuck? No, that's weird, bro. I'm like, no.
find that out, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really compute in your head that maybe, there's a little bit of a difference between me having one partner who I care about or whatever, right? And having 100 complete strangers that
No
are all
fucking
masked
duh.
that I don't know, basically
Horse.
run through me like the fucking plow horse, right? Like, I just don't really know what she expected, right? Like, I don't know. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to imagine that this would just be terrible for everyone involved, right? Like, obviously for the girl, she is sleeping with 100 men she doesn't know. She doesn't know their health, their like validity of the health and everything. I'm assuming they weren't very respectful of boundaries from the descriptions that was put in this documentary. All of the guys were wearing masks apparently, and it just like, from the way it's described and everything, it was never going to be a pleasant experience, right? It wasn't going to be like some sort of fucking like super awesome time for everybody involved, right? Like, even like as a guy, I can't understand why anyone would want to participate in this, right? Like, there's 100 different dudes involved in this at the same
That's just weird, bro. I don't think like, okay, for my guy audiences here, right? For my guy audiences in general, I'm gonna ask you guys, do you want to be in a room with a bunch of other dudes to bang a single girl? Just as I thought. Like, I assume it's fucking, like, because I already know, right? The one thing that I know, right? This is the one thing that I always know every single time about, like, guys, right? Because I have guy friends, you know, they always tell me, you know, like, their issues that they have, right? One of the things they always tell me, right, is that, like, you know, they are their self-consciousness about their penis sizes all the time. They've always tell me, it's just like, that's like one of the things that they've always told me. You know, they're like some of them do have like self-consciousness about, like, you know, the length of their penises and everything like that, you know. It's just like, I can just think of, like, you know, like your average person who has an average dick size compared to someone who has, like, you know, who has like a long ass schlong, you know, and it's just kind of like, you know, like, I'd assume it would make them feel self-consciousness about them, you know. And I would assume it would probably, you know. Yeah, you crazy. Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, like, because I know that, like, I know that dudes have, you know, a self-consciousness about it, you know. Like, I know that. I'm not gonna be oblivious about it. Like, I know that for a fact. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't matter the size of your dick, okay? Okay? It's just the way how you use it at the end of the day.
time. I mean, that's just fucking disgusting. Let's be honest here, right? Like, that's just gross. Like, imagine being guy number 78 in this entire thing, right? You got 77 guys in line, right? They're all ahead of you, basically, okay? They get their turn first. Now, from the description in this whole thing, she promised all of them 5 minutes individually. So that is, at bare minimum, right? 500 minutes that she had to endure all of this bullshit, okay?
5 minutes for every single guy. Damn. For 5 minutes for 100 dudes. My bad, 100 dudes. 500 minutes. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, now, if you break that down, she probably spent over 8.5 hours straight doing this, okay? Now,
Whoa. 8.5 hours. That's literally like, isn't that like the time frame of a job, right? That's the time frame of a job, right? Or just a little bit over of a normal job hours, right? I'm not too sure. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a 9-to-5 job. What marathon is this? Yeah, that's probably talking about people taking longer or stuff in between. Yeah. Let me see, hold on. Yeah, it's like roughly like 8 hours basically. Yeah.
they even interviewed some of the men, right? And they didn't seem...
It's because I used to do a lot of overtime when I used to do a lot of working, so usually my normal 9 to 5 would be 9 to fucking 10 or something like that, you know. So I've done 12 hours. I've done 12-hour shifts once.
to have great things to say about it. Like, one guy, for instance, said that, like, he didn't know how many guys went before, no idea it bothered him, knowing, like, I have no idea where I basically fit in the line. Apparently, like, if his family found out, he would have been kicked out of his fucking house. He was, like, ashamed, basically, to have done it. He didn't want it to get out. It's like, nobody involved in this was proud after the fact, right? And realistically, like I said, it shouldn't have taken rocket science to figure out that this wasn't something to be proud of. Like, this is just, it's beyond disgusting. Like, having all of these people performing the same thing, like, what the fuck? It's just disgusting to even think about.
Yeah,
I mean, it
that
goes
is
beyond,
weird.
like, OnlyFans content or whatever. That is just, like, outright, blatant, insane degeneracy from everybody involved. Like, nobody left this probably an actually better man or a better woman or anything, right?
I think sometimes, like, feeling so, like, robotic, like, by the, I think, like, the 30th, you know, like, when we're getting on a bit, I've got, like, a routine of, like, how we're gonna do this, and, like, it just, sometimes you'd, like, disassociate and be like, you know, like, it's not, like, normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of, like,
Bro, this girl literally jumped from, like, I assume, I don't know what the max she had, you know, she had sex with, like, the amount of dudes. I'm gonna say like the average, you know, the average person would probably do a threesome, right? I'm just gonna say like the average would do a threesome. She literally jumped, let's just say she just did a threesome, right? Let's just say like that's the max that she did before, right? She jumped from doing a threesome with 2 people to fucking 100 people, okay? Let's be honest here. If, you know, there are some of those, remember those girls that we watched or so from the previous videos where a girl is gonna try to have sex with 1,000 dudes in 24 hours, you know? She's basically, you know, I guess like the right word is training to handle that many. She just completely jumped from let's just say threesome, right? Threesome is like the highest that she did, right? She fucking jumped to fucking 100, you know? There's no rest, no nothing. It's literally 5 minutes and then the next guy. 5 minutes and then the next guy. 5 minutes and then the next guy, you know? It's like she was not ready or prepared for any of this whatsoever. She was way over her head with this actual, like, trying to do 100 people, you know? And well, Lord or behold, you know, your consequences have actions, you know? I think of the, you know, if I was an OF model, right? If I was an OF model and I was, like, thinking of having sex with, like, 100 dudes, right? I'm gonna be thinking to be like, huh, this is probably not a good fucking idea. I'm probably not gonna fucking do it, you know? So.
like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah.
She literally straight up, the tag from the hentai manga scenes literally got mind broken. Straight up. She literally straight up got mind broken. Like, I'm just I'm not trying to make it funny or anything like that. That's literally is what it is. That's like straight up legit. She just got mind broken. She literally had to have the film and the tape and everything in order to see it, in order for her to remember what even happened that night. That is the craziest thing to hear that.
I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all.
Now, in this clip, she basically describes how traumatic it really was for her. Now, she doesn't outright say like, oh, this was like the traumatic thing. I didn't, you know, this is horrible. But she says shit like, well, I only remember like a handful of the people that participated. If I didn't have video, I wouldn't even know about the rest of them. At a certain point, you just start dissociating. And when you hear shit like that, it immediately triggers like that warning sign where it's like, dude, this is not somebody who is enjoying what they're doing. This is not somebody getting satisfaction out of what they're doing. This is somebody's brain like shutting down as a fucking trauma response where it's like, okay, I'm going through something completely unprecedented in my head right now.
Because number one, she did not prepare for this whatsoever. It's like that one saying. It's like that one saying, right? Where like for food specifically, it's like your eyes are bigger than your stomach. It's literally the same thing here in this situation. She got in over her head. She thought maybe she did see like, oh, these other girls, these other girls are like gonna have sex with like 1,000 dudes in 24 hours, or this one other girl is having a practice run with like 200 women. I mean, not 200 women, but 200 guys or so, and like, and all this other shit and everything like that, right? Maybe she wanted to join the bandwagon and decided to do 100 and to start off with, but Lord and behold, she was definitely not prepared, because literally her eyes were literally bigger than her fucking ovaries. So I guess that's like the best term you can do it, I guess. But yeah, like honestly, like this is literally the term that she has been mind broken, like straight up. This is literally the term of being mind broken, like straight up, no joke. And I'm not here trying to make it like funny or anything like that. It's literally what it is. It's that is straight up just literally just mind broke her.
The point, I don't know how to react. Therefore, as the brain, I'm shutting the fuck down. Like, I can't even imagine the concept of like, you do this with 100 people and you can only remember a handful of them because your brain was turning itself off at a certain point.
Yep.
And yet people want to act like, shit like this should be like normal, or oh, fuck it, just do whatever, right? Like, who cares, Nah, you gotta realize that at a certain point, it's not about like exploring your sexuality or anything. This is just degeneracy. Let's just call it for what it is. Like, as I said before, this is one of those things where literally nobody leaves this situation better off. And realistically, I think everybody involved should have known beforehand, like, dude, this is something you can't change. This isn't something that you can fix later down the line. Now, the problem here is
this is definitely going to affect her later down the line if she wants to have a relationship with somebody, because she's like, I assume she's in her early 20s, right? Because that's how mostly all OnlyFans models are, right? They're in their early 20s, maybe mid 20s. They want to try it, they want to do it, but then like later on they regret it or so, and they want to have a family with somebody, but then they found out that like, their husband finds out that like, she did OnlyFans, then she got dicked down by like, 20 plus dudes or 100 plus dudes or 200 plus dudes, I'm like, it's kind of like, it's like, what do you expect? I assume that most guys don't want to date a girl who's had sex with like 100 dudes in a single night, Yeah, that also too, and it's also a documentary on top of that. So her face is basically like famous throughout the internet now. Like I assume most of my guy audiences here, right, and also like my YouTube comment sections, right? You wouldn't want to date somebody who has sex with 100 dudes in a single night, right? We can all accept this. Like, you wouldn't want to have somebody like that as a girlfriend, right? I assume, right? And I'm just assuming, right? But it's just kind of like, I'm like, you did it. That's your decision at the end of the day. I personally wouldn't date. Yeah, it goes both ways, but I'm saying like in this specific scene right here, like that's what I was gonna say. Like me specifically, I wouldn't date a guy if he dated like, or he has sex with like 100 women in a single night. It's the same thing for me. Like I wouldn't do it personally. Or it's the same thing if I dated a girl. I wouldn't want that either. So.
Obviously, there's regret being shown on both sides. Like I said, there was an interview with one of the guys where he's like obviously showing some regret and he's thinking back poorly on what he did. And then of course now she's crying, oh, this wasn't as great as I expected. You know what I mean? Now,
it's funny that one of the guys that were literally participating in this event literally regretted of doing this. That's fucking crazy to hear that. Like literally, it's like, wow, really, you regret it now after you've done the deed? Damn, maybe you should have thought of it before you actually done the deed, you know?
Like I said, there's been a pretty diverse mix of opinions where you got a lot of people who are blaming one side or the other. I think everybody involved in this shit deserves some blame to some extent. You know what I mean? Like participating in 100-man run-throughs, okay?
Number one, I blamed the girl because number one, right? She did not know where HIV came from, or STD in general. I should say STD actually. She did not know where STD came from. That's number one, right? Because she is very uneducated. Number two, right? She decided to say, hey, fuck it. I want to sleep with 100 guys in a single night. You know, that's strike number two right there immediately. You know, that's two blames at there. Number three, all of the guys that participated in this should have known, realizing that this is pretty stupid in my personal opinion. You know, that's strike for their side. So 2 strikes for the female and 1 strike for the dude. You know. That's all I gotta say, you know. Nobody's clean here. Everyone is here to blame with.
As a man, that is not normal behavior, okay? The average guy is not going out and running through situations like this, right? It's just not going down. So to actually go through with that, like, that puts you in a different echelon of people altogether, you know? Yep. How many people can say they experienced something like this? Not that many. And realistically, it should be none, okay? But it's like very clear that the human brain was not designed to handle something like this. Like, no matter what people say, you as a person were not designed physically or mentally to have 100 partners in the same fucking day, okay? That is not natural. That is not something that happened, you know?
Well, yeah, of course. The human body, like, there's always a phrase, too much of a good thing is bad for you. Like, have we forgot about this word and this phrase in it on itself? Too much of a good thing is always bad for you. It doesn't matter if it's sex, it doesn't matter if it's your favorite food, or it's your favorite candy, it's your favorite drink, it's your favorite, you know, whatever the fuck, you know, it is, you know? Too much of a good thing is always bad for you. You know, it's just obvious. Like, I just don't understand where the fuck this logic comes from, where people don't seem to understand that, like, hey, you know, too much of this is gonna be bad for you. Like, the person who ate, like, what, 200 chicken nuggets or something? I saw a video where a guy ate, like, 200 chicken nuggets, and, you know, they started getting fucking wanted to vomit or so after, like, what, after, like, 30 chicken nuggets or something like that after they consumed it. So, you know, it's like, it's just too much of a good thing is just bad for you overall, and that's it, period.
Oh, like, that's just insane. And so, yeah, of course, like, you weren't gonna be able to handle this. That's a fucking insane thing to go through.
Now, the human body is not designed for that, you know? Like, just period. Like, honestly. Like, do I have to slap this information on your face or something for you to understand that, like, the human body that you guys have as humans should not be doing these kinds of things that are going over the limit, you know? Man dies eating 500 nuggets, so $4.99 is the limit. Oh, is it? Okay.
This is the problem, is that when, you know, one side or the other gets blamed, when shit like this happens, it really doesn't actually address the root of the problem, because, you know, there's a lot of shit about, like, OnlyFans models. Like, this girl, she's an OnlyFans model. A lot of people, they think that, like, outright that shit should be banned and whatnot, and they have their arguments for it, and they have their reasonings and their rationale for it. And the issue is that, you know, when it comes to stuff like this, I think a lot of these people are just being pressured into doing it at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of girls, they just have this shit sold to them, like, at an early age, like, oh, well, if all else fails, I can just do fucking OnlyFans and whatnot, right? And not only do I think that that's, like, a real...
It's so dumb because they think they can make they think, you know, they can make a lot of money like all the other girls, like making like $24 million a month or something like that from OnlyFans, you know? That's basically is where they're getting it from, but they don't know what OnlyFans, like, I assume they know what OnlyFans is, right? But I assume there's probably some that don't know, right? Or they go beyond, you know, beyond doing OnlyFans and start doing like the actual, like, the pornographic stuff, you know? It's just like, honestly, it's just crazy. In my personal opinion, I do not want my daughter doing any of this stuff, you know? Honestly, I don't. I do not want her to do it. Nope. I want her to be a a strong, strong individual woman that works hard, and like puts her time in whatever she's gonna do, and hopefully she succeeds, So, and I tell her, I'm educate her and all this other shit, and all this stuff, of like the consequences of your own actions. I want you to sit down and think of the actions that you're going to do and what are the consequences afterwards. It's like with streaming where people think they will just turn on the camera and bam, top streamer. Yeah, that's also another thing too. It's like a lot of people, like there's a lot of people who quit, VTubers who quit, YouTubers who quit, streamers who quit, just because, they're not having like, thousands of people in their chat, or thousands of people donating to them, At the end of the day, for me specifically, like I just enjoy streaming. That's just it, man. That there's nothing else to it behind it. I just enjoy streaming. Sometimes I stream a little bit too long, and sometimes it kind of hinders me. But you know what? At the end of the day, I still love it. At the end of the day, so I don't hate it personally. Because I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I enjoy hanging out with my, talking to my YouTube comments section. From time to time when I upload, these videos. I enjoy talking to you guys on Twitch here. Overall, it is what it is. I just enjoy it. I don't care if I make a lot of money or not make a lot of money, because I just enjoy it. That's it. That's just literally it. I even love all the VTuber friends that I made along the way, fucking Sayun, fucking Radish, fucking Natsuko, fucking Mikan, fucking Rinrin, fucking, just all these people, I love every single one of them, I love all my VTuber friends. They're all great, Now, may I have a small, I may have talked to them just a little bit, right? But I don't really care, to be honest. That small conversation that I had with them, always leaves a good impact, Like I even knew, like I even had a conversation, not like a major conversation, right? But I even had a conversation with Narissa before she even joined HoloLive. So, one of my viewers sent me over to them, and I didn't even know, to be honest. I didn't know it was them because I was watching them because number one, they were like a voice actress, right? And I was like, I took a look at their work and everything. I was like, oh my god, it's so cool, and had a small conversation with them while they were streaming and everything. So I doubt they remember me, but but overall, that first interaction with them, and it kind of made me kind of like want to push to be like, yeah, man, maybe one day I'll get to be a voice actress like her too. You gotta build your audience and have some fun, have some form of creativity and charisma to be successful in a certain fields. Either you're really skilled, either you're really super skilled in a video game. That's also one of the criterias as well. Or be really funny, or be really hot if you're a female, of course, and those are pretty much like, I guess, like the three criteria you can go into, and then I think number 4 would be like a charming personality, and that would be it, it'd be those are probably like the 4 that I can think of off the top of my head specifically for you to become a successful streamer, and that's pretty much it, But usually it also takes luck as well. So that's about it. But for me personally, luck has never been on my side. So that's the only thing why, I work hard instead of, relying on luck most of my time, I'd rather build a core audience first, if I have like, let's say I have like 10,000 people, right? As my subscribers and my Twitch followers too as well, right? And they're my core audiences. They're my loyal fan base, and I love them. They love me, and all this other shit. I'd rather have that over 10,000 people, or over 10,000 people any day of the week, that are not my core audiences, like 100,000 people, for example, At the end of the day, I'd rather build my core audiences so they know who I am, They know how I am, they know how I act and everything, the way how I think and all this other stuff, Agree to disagree, We can always agree to disagree. It's not like I'm gonna lash out on anybody, at the end of the day. I'm not gonna lash out on anybody, Like, what's the point of me lashing out on somebody over an opinion at the end of the day, so. It's like, if I don't understand a specific comment section, right, or I see something funny or someone trying to say shit about me on my comment section, I just make fun of them at the end of the day, Or if I don't understand a specific comment, I'm just kind of like, I don't really understand it, so I'm just gonna move on and reply to a different comment, and that's pretty much it. So that's how I literally am.
really poor example as society that we should be setting. You know, like, we shouldn't be telling people that that's like, oh, you know, fuck it, you flunk out of college, cool, start this, right? But also, like, it's promoting this shit, right? Where you end up with the 1 in a million examples like this. I mean, let's be real, no one involved in this is going to be the same person anymore. You know what I mean? This is one of those things you hold with you for the rest of your life. And when you put yourself through some shit like this, I mean, like, you got to think, man,
like even my friend who, like, I told you guys that, like, basically he's kind of basically like the opposite like gender of Project Melody, you know, because the way how she is and everything like that, right? Like, at least the lewd side of the content anyway, because that's how he is. He can be like that too as well with the lewd side stuff as well, right? Even he knows for a fact that he wouldn't even do this 100%, you know, because he doesn't like that kind of shit personally. So that's just the way how he is. Like, as someone who he is, like, horny, right? He's a horny dude, right? But even then, he still thinks logically, to be honest. He doesn't let his dick do all the talking, you know, at the end of the day. So he can say that, like, he can even say that, like, no, I think this is pretty stupid and I wouldn't fucking do this. So I don't know, maybe because I make pretty smart individual friends, you know. Maybe because I just, you know pretty smart people, you know, or actually just common sense people is a lot more better to say.
Like, her face is in this documentary. It's like permanent knowledge now. You don't get away from some shit like this.
That's
you
true.
know what I'm saying? Like, they always say, oh, the internet's permanent. Like, whatever you say, whatever you post, anything online, that stuff is gonna stick around forever. And, like, there's some truth and some non-truth to it, but, like, in instances like this shit will never go away. I mean, so many people are talking about this on Twitter. So many people are, like, commenting on the documentary itself. It's actually insane. You know, this is literally who she is now. And I hate that that's even like a thought.
True.
Like a thought. I mean, imagine being known basically as the person who got 1v100 by a bunch of fucking masked men. I mean, it's a disgusting title to hold, and it's not something that anyone should strive for. But she did. She thought that was like something she wanted to do. She went through with it, and you know, that's the thing. Hindsight's always 20/20. This is one of those situations, though, where it's like, come on. The reality is, I think this woman was just super naive. I don't think that she really thought anything through. I think that...
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, you're in the adult phase. You know, you're not a kid anymore. You know, it's time to put on your thinking caps, bro. I'm sorry, but, like, you're an adult. You're not a kid, you know? Like, I've met naive people before, but they weren't this stupid, you know? They were not this stupid when it came to common sense. This is just literally just basic common sense overall.
That part is evident enough. Like, clearly no one who did anything like this has thought through the ramifications enough, has thought through the consequences enough. Because, like I said, all of us basically can see, like, no one's coming out of this better, no one's coming out of this happier. This is like one of those fucking traumatizing things you can really never escape. But apparently these people had to do it to prove it or whatever. And I just don't understand that mentality, because like I said, once it's done and it's online, it's out there. Like, people know you for that now. You walk down the street, people might recognize you. I mean, that's just a fucked up thing to even have to imagine for yourself, like, as a life, right? And I think that situations like this need to be made more of an example of, right? Like, we need to show people that, like, when you make the decision to do shit like this, when you decide to film yourself in documentaries, doing shit like this, when you decide to have entire paid accounts where you're basically e-whoring and whatnot, right? And you're filming yourself and you're sending pictures of yourself to people and all these other things, right? Like, you're setting yourself up for something that's never going to go away. Like, you're setting yourself up to be put in a predicament where, yeah, maybe later down the road, sure, you want to back out. You don't want to be the OnlyFans model anymore. Maybe you want to be a mother, or you want to move into a different career field or something. You want to go back to college, but you don't get that opportunity once you've already submitted all this shit. And unfortunately...
Yeah, that's true, to be honest. Like, honestly, to have sex with, like, 100 dudes in a single night is just completely, like, you're gonna fuck up your future. Like, 100%. Like, no buts, no ifs, no ands, no, like, oh, but, like, no, you're gonna fuck up your future. Like, honestly, especially having a relationship in like, you know, maybe you want to have a family, maybe you wanna watch a, maybe you wanna have a husband or something like that, and have kids and everything. People are gonna recognize you from the documentary, and they might bully your kids, It'd be like, oh, your mom slept with like 100 dudes. Wow, your mom is a, This is just going to happen,
For her and the men who regretted doing this and shit, right? Once you partake in this, it's done. It's just a really fucked up and weird all around situation, right?
I feel like the younger generation are just too horny. Like it's crazy how horny the younger generation is. It is probably the most absurd thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Like even like conversation with like a few younger generations, right? I can already tell immediately like how horny they are,
It's one of those things where it feels like it went without saying, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing though, is like when it comes down to it, like some people, they just always have to test the limit. They always got to fucking push the boundary or like put their,
like I got no problem, right? I got no problem with like, like expressing to a certain degree, right? To a certain degree, right? But like the issue is like they go like, it's not even expressing. It's like they go into the topic, like they just jump into the topic like literally nilly-willy, like it's crazy. Like for me, I just do like sexual innuendo jokes, that's pretty much is like where I'm probably is like where my limit is, like if a girl comes up to me and starts flirting with me, right, like sexually and everything, of course I'm gonna respond back to it, and like it's not like I'm not gonna respond back to it in return, right? I'm like, they instigated it. I'm like, I might as well instigate it back in return, So, like, I've had multiple conversations where I've had like, instances where like girls always come up to me and always initiate the thing, I've had, I think like, through my time of playing VR chat, I think I've had like a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of girls that would come up to me and try to, I guess you can try to like flirt, try to swoon me, I guess, to do some ERPing and everything like that, right? And like, I think I've only done ERP, I think, let's see. I've done it 5 times, and 3 of those 5 times was with the same person. So technically, I've only done it with 3 different people. So I've only done it with 3 different people in as ERP, and that's pretty much about it. So that's like literally it. Like no joke, nothing like crazy or like, oh, you had sex with like 5 different people. No, it's not literally like that. It's 5 in total. 3 of them was the same person, and the other 2 were different relationships. But it's all relationships though. Like, most of them were relationships. I usually don't do it. I've never really done it to like a stranger or anything like that. I've always done it with like who I'm involved with in a relationship with. So
their hand in the fire to see how hot it is. And the craziest part, to wrap all of this up, right, is you would think that, like, she learned her lesson. It's fucking disgusting. It's a terrible thing to put yourself through. It literally basically just turns you into a product. It's fucking terrible, right? Like, you'd never want to do this, right? Well, apparently, next year in 2025, she will be attempting to surpass her limits that she has already reached. Apparently, Kaioken, or as I should put it, Gaiomen times 100 wasn't enough for her, right? She needs to hit that power level 1000, if you know what I mean. So, according to her, the plan is next year, she's gonna go 1v1000. And I'm not...
Wait, this is the one that wants to do 1,000? Wait, this is the girl that wants to do 1,000 dudes? I thought it was a different person. Oh shit, dude.
Making this up. Apparently, this after, basically putting yourself through all this horrible shit and traumatizing yourself, indignifying yourself, destroying your reputation, hurting your own soul with such a fucking depraved act, right? She now wants to completely outclass it in a way that I can honestly horrifically imagine will probably destroy her completely mentally. I mean, if
Wait, this was the same. Wait, this was the same person. I thought it was a different person. Wasn't it not a different person that wanted to do a thousand dudes?
this was enough, obviously, to fragment the mind and like put you in the dark place where you're like, damn, you're sitting there with that regret or whatever. I can't imagine how much worse it's going to be next time around. So I don't know.
You know what? I don't want to say this. I didn't want to say this, right? But if she just didn't learn off the 100 ones or so, right? She's gonna literally end up like metamorphosis. If you guys know what metamorphosis is, you know, she's literally gonna end up like that, you know. There was one female who had sex with like 919 men. So she holds the Guinness record of like the amount of that. Oh, that was a blast from the past. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how she ends up in the end, you know.
Honestly, a really just disgusting and like sad state of affairs that this shit has
I thought it
gotten
was a
to.
different
I don't
girl.
know
I thought it was a different girl that was
anyone in
having
their
sex
right
with 1,000
mind would
guys.
think that something like this is like something you should try or want to do. But I think that's the problem with society now, right? Is like there's some people who will probably celebrate shit like this, who will think that this is like awesome or whatever.
I don't know if I would celebrate personally. Mama Sunaka's a woman of culture, I see. Of course I am. Shit, man. Bro, man, I'm gonna have a rate the tags or so one day on stream.
They're gonna fucking buy her content from it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the sad reality here. So anyway, man, I just wanted to talk about this because like it's just such a fucking wild topic. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching.
Hold on, is this actually legit the same person who wants to have sex with 1,000 dudes? Let me see. Was this actually? I thought it was a different person. I thought it was straight up a different person. Hold up. Before we end the video, I gotta check real quick. Voice critical real quick. Let me see. Is this actually the same person? Let me see. Hold on. Was it the same?
I posted a video 2 days ago that showed myself and some of Florida's top minds getting together using math and science to figure.
Is that literally the same person? Oh, it is. It is the same person. I didn't recognize it. That's why I didn't recognize. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. That's actually really crazy. You know what? Hey, man. It's your body. You can do whatever you want with it, you know, at the end of the day. So, hey, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy, jazzy stuff. So, that is very interesting. I feel very sorry for their parents, to be honest. Their parents are probably in disgrace of, especially the father of seeing like their own little girl, you know, doing this shit, you know, and trying to do 1,000 fucking dudes in January, I guess. I didn't know this was the same person, but yeah. Anyways, that's a very interesting for a little bit of like a tidbit lore about her initially doing 100 people. So, hey, man, it is what it is, and yeah, that's the end of the video. And like I said, crazy. The younger generation is just crazy. But that's the end of the video, and peace.